Good afternoon. Today's the 1st of April. We're in a different car today. I'm house sitting at the moment with my wife, and one of my friends has left his car at the house where we are, and he said I could do some vlogs in it, so there we go, that's great. I want to talk today about what is possibly the best ITC series ever made. It's The Prisoner. So The Prisoner was the brainchild of two people. One is a chap called George Markstein, who'd been a member of the Secret Service during the war, and another chap who is much more famous than him, is Patrick McGoohan, who had, until fairly recently, before The Prisoner came along, had been doing a series called Danger Man, also for ITC, which was made between 1959 and 1960, and then again from 1964 to 1966. Some people have said that The Prisoner is just a continuation of Danger Man, because in the title sequence of The Prisoner, there's a photograph of Patrick McGoohan that appears, and that's a publicity photograph from Danger Man, although the connection between the two is never made explicit. Patrick McGoohan really was the main influencer behind a lot of decisions made in The Prisoner. His character isn't really named, he's just given a number, which is number 6. We don't know exactly that much about him, other than that he was a British government agent. He resigned from his job, and then he was spirited away with sleeping gas put through the letterbox of his flat and the keyhole, which you can see in the title sequence every time. And he woke up in the village, and the village, we're not quite sure where it is. Different episodes seem to contradict each other. In the village, it seems that everybody's out to get him, everybody's out to get information from him, and he keeps attempting to escape. And in the final episode, he succeeds. I'm not really here to discuss what The Prisoner means, because I don't really know. People have been talking about it for well over 50 years, since it came to an end in 1968. It's a very interesting series to watch. It certainly makes you think. And Patrick McGoohan's a very intense performer. He wrote and directed some of the episodes himself. And it took a long time to film The Prisoner. Man in a Suitcase, which started filming in September 1966, like The Prisoner, had finished by December 1967, and they'd made 30 episodes by then. The Prisoner took until February 1968 to make 17 episodes, and Patrick McGoohan cleared off and made a film in the middle of that, entirely separately from The Prisoner. So there were lots of production problems, and people, like, fans these days, trying to work out really what it means. And I don't really know, other than that I kind of think that it's a bit in his imagination. I don't really know. So the main car used in The Prisoner, and it's a very famous one, was a 1965 Lotus Super 7 MkII, which was registered KAR 120C. Now, we don't actually know where that car is, because that plate was put around a lot of the Lotus factory demonstrators. Patrick McGoohan was offered a Lotus Elan, very similar to one used by Emma Peel in The Avengers. But he thought it was a bit too feminine, and the Lotus 7, up until that point, was normally only available as a kit car. And in the episode Many Happy Returns, Patrick McGoohan's character number 6 actually talks about the fact that he's built the car with his own hands, which is pretty believable, really. That particular car had a Ford 1500cc engine that was modified by Cosworth, as in, Escort Cosworth. Although by the time they came to film 2 later episodes where they needed the car, such as Do Not Forsake Me, Oh My Darling, which was made when Patrick McGoohan had got off to do Ice Station Zebra in late 1967. They hired a Lotus 7 from a local man in Borehamwood, where the studios were, and that was just for a couple of days, although it looked very similar. They put the number plate on it, of course. And the car that was seen at the last episode, which is called Fallout, was actually driven into view outside number 1 Buckingham Place, where the prisoner lived, by Graham Nern, who was the managing director of Caterham Cars, who you might have heard of. At the time, they were just a Lotus dealer, but they later bought the rights to build the Lotus 7 under their own name, and they have been doing so since 1973. I've been in a Caterham 7, and it was absolutely terrifying, but a lot of fun. So there actually was Lotus Sedan used in The Prisoner as well. There was a 1967 Lotus Sedan used by number 6's character in an episode called The Girl Who Was Deaf. Now, that's another really weird episode. Most of them are weird, but that's particularly weird. I don't know what character he's supposed to be sort of playing. It's all a bit meta, really. Although he drives that in the episode, and he is in a car chase with a girl called Death, who's driving a white 1963 Jaguar E-Type. Other cars you see in The Prisoner, the hearse from title sequence is a 1960 Vandenpla Princess hearse. That's TLH 858, and it's 289 ALW in the last episode because they couldn't get that car back for the last episode for some reason. There's also very prominently in The Prisoner Mini Mokes used. They're used in virtually every episode as taxis and general vehicles driving around a village in Portmeirion. As far as we know, there were 4 Mini Mokes used in The Prisoner. One of them was HLT 709C. Now, that car actually survives. It was found in Holland in 2011, and it was restored by 2017 when it was brought to the 50th anniversary Prisoner celebration in Portmeirion, and I've seen it myself. It's a beautiful job, but it's absolutely correct in every detail. Mini Mokes, for those of you who don't know, which is probably not many of you if you're watching this video, they were sort of Jeep-type versions of the Mini. They still had front-wheel drive and still had lots of Mini components, but they were essentially really basic vehicles indeed. They didn't really have doors. They only had a roof if you bothered to put it up. It's like a canopy, as you see in The Prisoner. They could seat 4 people, although the comfort was not great. But in Prisoner, they're iconic and they are wonderful. There's also Lotus Cortina in one episode. I can't remember the registration number of that one. I'm not even sure you see the outside of the car, actually. I think you just see the car being driven around in like a studio set. But that's interesting anyway. It was a Mark I Lotus Cortina, I think. I could be wrong about that. That's in the episode Do Not Forsake Me, My Darling, where the second of the Lotus 7s appears. So I really hope you found that video interesting. It's been one that's been much requested from my subscribers. I hope I did this subject justice. Prisoner is one of the things you could talk about for hours, but I don't want to go on for all day. So my Facebook page is facebook.com/Lloyd Vehicle Consulting. My website is www.lloydvehicleconsulting.co.uk. And please use the contact me page on that site to get in touch with me if you wish me to source a car for you. It doesn't have to be anything that I've mentioned in the video. It could be something entirely different. And please don't forget to like and to comment on this video. And to subscribe if you haven't done so already. That would be wonderful. And thank you very much for watching. Be seeing you.